time for the one and the only show. It's the Luke Howard Show, and guess what? It's recorded, so please welcome Luke Howard. Thank you. Morning. Another day, another show. It's Thursday, the 18th of June. Today, I hope everyone's well, and I hope your day is going well. I hope your Thursday is going well so far. I'm here 6 days a week to kickstart your day. Monday to Saturday from 10ish till 10:45ish. And I hope everyone's well, of course, and I hope your week's going well as well. I hope you're having a wonderful week. And of course, I hope you're enjoying lockdown. It's a bit of a miserable day though today. It's going to be raining today, so I know, a bit rainy day. But the best thing to do is to snuggle up indoors when it's pouring it down with rain and listen to the one and the only show, the Luke Howard Show. I've heard it's going to be raining in our area. I'm not quite sure where it's going to be raining where you are, but I know that there is rain in some areas today. So, before we move on to the papers, because we're going to talk about a story that was in one of the papers the other day about £100 fine for public transport users who do not cover up their face. I think I will get to that. I will get to that in a bit, of course. I will get to it. And then we're also going to talk about 36 fatalities, in other words, facilities, lower since a lockdown, as 2 million rule reviewed. We'll get to that bit in a bit. But first, the news has been coming to me overnight, actually, about this, and it's footballer Marcus Rashford. He says, again, we'll go back to him because he's got better now, because he says he wants to do more. Yes, more. Yesterday we spoke about him for the school vouchers, but now he wants to do more to help those in need after winning a battle to have free school meal vouchers. This is the scheme extended. There's a video now that I'm going to show you about what he was saying. Again, we'll recap it a bit more.
About where the next meal's going to come from for the kids.
Marcus Rashford won a battle to extend the free school meal scheme. The vouchers secured food vouchers for 1.3 million children.
Stage where they're not even thinking about themselves anymore, and that's the bit that gets to them really. And lack of sleep, and they can't follow what they've been dreaming of doing. In the world that we live in our sport, it's always been football. And sometimes there's situations that come up that are sort of, it puts football aside for a moment, and this was one of them.
Rashford's mother, Melanie, struggled to feed her 5 children.
She rang me about 10 times today. No, she's just very happy, and, if someone, when she was going through it, if somebody would have spoke out about it, then maybe the situation would have been different, and I think she's just happy that now people that are going through it, people are aware of that now, and they're going to try and help them as much as they can. So she's just happy that we're taking steps in the right direction. And I don't want this to be the end of it, because there's definitely more steps that need to be taken. So we just need to analyse the response, and things like data and these type of topics are very important. Like, summer's just a period where people struggle, but other people are struggling all year round. So there's we still need to learn more about the situation that people are in and how we can help them best.
What's the best message you've received today?
Probably them calls from my mum, to be honest. I think that's probably the ones that are most important to me, and it's just nice to see her smiling.
That was another interview that was the actual interview that took place yesterday, and I think they did another interview today because it continued again today. So today was it? Today, yeah, it continued yesterday. Sorry, yesterday it continued, not today. I keep getting my days all mixed up. Yesterday was where it did happen. So his campaign promoted a government U-turn that will see parents claim vouchers for about 1.3 million children in the UK during the summer holidays. But he told BBC Breakfast there is more steps that need to be taken. This was yesterday morning. But the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he praised the England Star's contribution to the debate around poverty. The Manchester United forward said that he was grateful that the Prime Minister did change his position, and that in a phone call, Mr Boris Johnson, let's repeat this again, had thanked him for using what I've built in a positive message, he said. Mr. Rashford said the extension of the scheme launched when schools were closed as part of the coronavirus lockdown. It has brought an extra 6 weeks, though, to figure, and of course, what's next. So we all don't want this to be the end of it because, well, there are more steps that need to be taken, and we just need to analyse the response. He said in an exclusive interview, people are struggling all year round, as you just saw in that video. We are still needed to learn more about the situation people are in and how we can help them best. The government says £63 million is available and to support the most vulnerable families through a new local authority welfare assistance scheme. And its holiday activities, the food programme offers activities and free meals in the summer holidays. On Tuesday, Downing Street announced all children eligible for free school meals in term time in England would benefit from a COVID summer food fund. So, the announcement came despite ministers having defended the decision is not to extend the scheme for days beforehand. Now, the involvement of a young, well-lit, liked, encouraged and high-profile figure like Mr. Rashford himself made that defence and less untenable by an hour. But Health Secretary Matt Hancock, he told the BBC that he was totally responsible. He also spoke to Sky News because we watched that interview on the show yesterday. Now, for the government to listen to the arguments and change its mind, as it had done in this case. But he congratulated Mr. Rashford on his impressive campaign, which he said was conducted with such dignity and emotion. But speaking on Sky News, Mr. Hancock accidentally referred to the footballer as Daniel Rashford when he put down to it being too early in the morning, adding, "I completely mistake." Let's hear that video now then. Come on, let's hear what he said. Come on, Boris, tell us what you said.
You talked a lot about levelling up and tackling inequalities in...
Come on, Boris.
But it's taken a campaign by a 22-year-old footballer to force you into action on free school meals. Have you lost touch with those that you promised to help?
Thanks very much, Vicky. Well, actually, I mean, I talked to Marcus Rashford today and congratulated him on his campaign, in which, to be honest, I only became aware of very recently today. And I thank him for what he's done. I think he's right to draw attention to this issue. But basically, you know, we've got large numbers of kids who haven't been able to get back into school. We've got a problem about getting kids back into the school in the way that we would want for the reasons that people understand. There are lots of kids who could go back to school now who aren't going back to school, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that happen. But I do think it's right that we should be looking after families of the vulnerable, most vulnerable, the neediest right now, and that's why we've got the COVID summer food plan, which we've announced today, and I hope it will make a big difference to those kids and to those families.
Oh, Boris. You said it well, but you accidentally called Mr. Rashford Daniel. Oh. But he laughed it off, though, saying, "I've been called much worse over the last couple of days." The voucher scheme in England works out of about £15 a week per recipient and will cost the public purse around £120 million. The Scottish and Welsh governments have already said that they would continue supporting families with food vouchers, meal deliveries or bank transfers. Now, the First Minister, Eleni Foster, has said that she will propose equivalent a scheme in Northern Ireland, and she said it would be extended over the summer if the necessary financials can be secured. Now, the question that everyone's wondering is, will vouchers be enough for struggling families? Now, analyses by Hannah Richardson, Education and Social Affairs reporter. Now, campaign is highlighting the struggle many poorer families with feeding their children during the holidays are nothing new. Now, every summer, charities produce reports detailing parents going without meals so their children can eat. Now, but the intervention of Mr. Rashford made that the cause mainstream. When the young footballer says that there is no more to do, he'll draw first pumping and applause from those working on the front line. Now, firstly, the scheme, though, only covers this summer holiday. No other summer holiday, just this summer holiday. Secondly, only those already on free school meals will be eligible. Now, this means any family who falls into enough hardship to equality, an income of less than $7,400 before benefits between now and the end of term will not receive those precious food parcels. And with 3 million new climates of the universal credit since a lockdown began, and more residents of the horizon, there will be questions as to whether this is really enough. The wave of conservative MPs over the handling of the latest U-turn, is likely to be aired later today, when the Prime Minister meets the executive of the Bankruptcy 1922 committee for the first time since. For the first time, where are we? Since the general election, in December last year. Now, BBC Newsnight's political editor Nicholas Watt has said that, by the way, So one MP told him to issue had been visible for outer space, with a cabinet minister criticised by Mr Johnson's top side. Dominic Cummings, of course, and said that the issue of meal vouchers should have been cut when a week ago, when raised during Prime Minister's questions. It comes and highlights concern over the effects of the lockdown on livelihoods. On Tuesday, official figures suggested that the number of claiming work benefits, which includes are employed with, was up to 126% to 2.8 million, with analyses suggesting that poorer areas were being hit hardest. Now, I've got the highest rate now of children on free school meals. Now, in Tower Hamlets, it's 33.9%. Now, Knowsley, it's 31.5%. Hackney in London, it's 32.2%. Islington is 30.1%. Newcastle is 29.7%. Hartlepool is 28.9%. Blackpool is 28.4%. Manchester is 28.1%. Camden in North London is 28%. Houghton is 27.8%. Birmingham is 27.1%. Middlesbrough is 27%. Nottingham is 25.7%. Liverpool is 25.6%. And Lambeth in London, central London, is 25.2%. And the England average altogether is 15.4%. So, charities say that research among 3,105 parents suggests that half of families receiving universal credit, of child tax credit in June this month, had fallen behind with rent or other bills. 7 in 10 of those survived for the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, and Save the Children said that they cut back on food and other essentials. The pressure of families was highlighted by Mr Rashford in an emotional open letter to MPs posted on Monday. The 22-year-old drew up on his own experience of relying on free school meals and food banks growing up to Manchester. In the BBC Breakfast interview, he revealed that his mother called him about 10 times when his campaign was in the news, and he said it was nice to see her smiling about the result. When she was going through the hardship, if someone had spoken about it, then maybe the situation would have been different, he said. Now, of course, grounding with the Fairlux and the Mountful Mix, and we will keep it there, I think. Yeah, great story to talk about there, because I want to talk about the newspapers now. We've got to move on, because I want to talk about the transport. Okay, transport. Now, £100 fines for public transport users not covering up their faces. Now, come on, people. When you travel on transport, everyone has got to wear a face mask. I was in a town the other day, my town, nice little town. No one, and I saw a bus, it was packed with people, and hardly no one on that bus was wearing face masks. There was one lady I saw, an old lady though, standing at the bus stop, and we drove past, and she wasn't wearing a face mask at all. And we went to a town the other day called Harpington, and a lady and a bloke were standing at a bus stop, well away from each other, but they weren't wearing face masks. Really, people? A lot of people aren't wearing them on transport, and I have seen this. Now, more than about 3,000 extra staff, including police, will be on duty at all transport hubs today, tomorrow, Friday, and yesterday, as rules requiring all passengers to wear masks and to come into force. The patrolling officers and railway workers will be tasked with ensuring people cover their faces, of course, and those who refuse to comply will be removed from services and will be fined £100. Now, hundreds of thousands of masks will be handed out. We've got masks. When we go out, we take hand sanitizer, we take masks, and we even ask every shop we go in, we say, do you want us to wear a face mask? And they go, you don't have to wear one, or they say yes or no, and that's a good thing to do. You ask them before you go in, and that's what we do. But that's with shops. But with transport, I don't go on transport at this very moment, so I don't really know much about that. All I know is that they should be wearing face masks on transport. And of course, the coming days, of course, as well. And Transport Secretary Grant Shapps has said that remembering to travel with them should become a routine. People with certain health conditions, disabled passengers and children aged under 11 do not have to wear one. The 3,000 extra staff are being deployed by British Transport Police. Network Rail operators and transport for the London TfL